Hi, I'm Marlisa with Little Crocus Modern Heirlooms. Welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 in my series of how to use your smocking pleater. And this particular section is going to focus on actually feeding your fabric through the pleater and onto the needles, and then how to evaluate that pleating, what can be fixed, what can't be fixed, and what you do at the end. I want to get my fabric lined up. Use my dowel. Just kind of get it notched in. It's a week later. I've been staring at this thing for a week, and I've just had to come to some bad conclusions. It's just not very good. I'm a librarian in everyday life, and that means that I spend a lot of time teaching people how to do things on their own and how to work around when things don't go well. So because of that, I have very strong feelings that anyone who teaches should be willing to show when things go wrong. Not everything's going to be ideal, and I think we have a responsibility to show you that and then show you how to fix it. So I'm going to show you everything I think was wrong with this bishop, and then I'm going to cut the threads and we're going to do it all again. Okay, let's talk about what's wrong with this bishop. So the first thing is to point out here is that I made a massive mistake when I was tying off my threads. This is something I have done before. It's very easy to do, and that is that I didn't unpick my back seam allowances. So normally what you do is after you pleat your fabric, you go back and you pick out the threads of usually, I don't know, maybe an inch and a half. Just depends on how you're going to do your closure. Sometimes if you're just going to fold, you might have a bit more. But if you're going to put in a placket, maybe you only need a half an inch. So what you do is you go in and you pick the threads out of whatever amount of fabric you need here. I did not do that. As you can see, I didn't do that. If I wanted to salvage this, if this was the only thing that I had done wrong on this particular item, what I would do is use a marker or even basting thread and just mark where that stop should be. So where should the smocking then stop so that it can turn under and have just a nice clean finish. And I can know not to smock beyond that point. That is the way that I could fix this. So let's say I just take a pencil here and I just kind of trace off a note to myself, don't go past here. Do not proceed. Unfortunately, that is not the only thing wrong. As you can see, as I start to gather my fabric up, I have these ripples. And sometimes ripples are just going to happen. But the worst is here in the center and over to the side. And let me tighten this up. It's more obvious when the pleats are gathered up. Okay, and so let me just gather this, squinch it up into the middle just so you can see what's going on here. Oh no, by no means is that the only thing wrong. Okay, so you see I have this bubbling here. Okay, so here, right in the middle section, I have this bubbling, and this is caused by inattention. This particular bubbling is caused by inattention, and so I have. Let's see if I can zoom you in here. How much zoom can I get here? So now you can see these pleats are split. And that will make it very, very difficult. Look at that right there. that will make it very difficult as I am stitching for my geometric designs to stay consistent. The way that smocking works is that you have these pleats and they are uniform all the way down. This is not going to lay well. Other times this bubbling and splitting can happen if your fabric is not cut on the grain. Fabric pleats best when it is cut with the long grain here, along the center or along the length of the garment. You will see bubbling on your sleeves if you do like me and try to save fabric by cutting your sleeves on the cross grain. This is tempting. Don't do it. You can also have bubbling if you rolled your fabric and there were loose areas within your fabric roll. You can have bubbling or even pleating, horizontal pleating, in here if you did not roll your fabric tightly or smoothly. And that means that it then went into the smocking needles with that ripple in the fabric, which then got carried through the needles that way. So I have quite a bit of bubbling in various places of this garment. If it is just a little bit, if it is just one or two little blips, I could probably work my way around that. I could probably just understand the way the pleats were supposed to be and force it to lay correctly. Once my pleater threads were gone, then it would hang correctly. This is too much for me to work around. It's in too many different places. So we're gonna have to start over. I hate that, but this is what we're gonna have to do. This is one of the reasons I love to use hand quilting or even upholstery thread for my pleating, because you can really yank on these threads to move the fabric how you need to. Just slide it along here and I don't have to worry about it breaking. One more error that I made, I wasn't paying attention and this entire thread came out. Whatever happened, my fabric started skipping over the needle, and that meant I lost an entire row. It's the last row. If this were the only thing wrong, I would ignore this and work around it. Unfortunately, it's just one more mistake. Okay. Now we're going to make the very, very sad action of we're going to cut the threads. And make sure that you cut your neckline as well. And then we just grab the other end and pull.
And now you can see very, very clearly what was going on in the fabric as it went to the pleater needles and how it caused these strange ripples and disturbances in the pleat. Now let's go do it all again.
So there we go. Thankfully, the second time around worked great, and I am happily getting into the smocking of this blouse now. So our third section, which will be released next Friday, is going to focus on how you then block your smocking pleats so that you can start the actual embroidery work. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this helpful or just entertaining, please click the like button below and consider subscribing if you'd like to receive notifications of future videos. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to include those answers in part 3.